Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and this is the start of my ContemporaryAthon vlog. It's a bit of a basic start because I'm in a bit of a rush. We've just cleaned the house. I say we. I cleaned the house and Matilda pretended to do some dusting, which was very kind of her. I've got a bit of a problem at the start of the ContemporaryAthon because I am still just over halfway through, you can't see it because I've taken the dust jacket off, Truth Witch by Susan Dennard, which I started a couple of days ago. I'm really enjoying this, and the problem I've got is if I say to myself I'll put this down and pick it up at the end of ContemporaryAthon, I know what I'm like and I won't. So I really want to get this finished before I start my contemporary books, because the sequel to this, Wind Witch, is actually shortlisted for the BookTube SFF Awards, so it's quite important that I do read this so that I can move on to Wind Witch. So I'm going to try and finish that today, which is day one, but also we're just about to go, Matilda's doing a handstand and cartwheel workshop for an hour and a half at her gymnastics school. So I'm going to take Truth Witch and try and read as much as possible, but I thought, in case I get, you know, I need a bit of a shake it up a bit, and also to sort of try and get going with my ContemporaryAthon, I'm going to take my graphic novel that I've picked, which is All's Fair in Middle School. This is by Victoria Jameson, so I could mix it up and read this. It's probably quite a quick read, so I could read this in between doing Truth Witch. That is my plan for the handstand and cartwheel workshop, and for today to get through those at least. And then I'm meant to be buddy reading one of my contemporary books with the lovely Janet from Swirly Girly Reads, and we should be starting that today, so hopefully I'll be able to start that this evening, but I'll update you a bit more a bit later. Hi everyone, so I've been relegated to the hallway, as you can see, because Matilda is watching something and doesn't want me talking to the camera. But I took her to gymnastics earlier and I read a little bit more of Truth Witch. I think I could hopefully nearly maybe get that finished tonight, that would be good. But I have read the whole of my first book for the ContemporaryAthon, which is All's Fair in Middle School by Victoria Jameson. Now, I was thinking that this was going to be quite good, but a little bit sort of young for me, but quite nice artwork. The basic story is about our main character. She's always been homeschooled. Her parents work for a Renaissance fair, which they sort of part of all year round. Her parents do other jobs as well, but in the summer it's open every weekend and they perform and they're part of the acts, and it's always been her life. And she's got a younger brother as well, and she decides that she wants to go to proper school, she wants to go to middle school, to experience school for the first time. And so she goes in, and it's just about how she copes, the things that she didn't know happened, those sort of things that you discover when you go to school about how other kids treat each other and the hierarchy and things that kids tease each other about, and the type of homework and work and what school is like. And we just follow her really on making mistakes and how to correct those mistakes, and what it's like to try and fit in, and what it's like to try and be yourself, and how the braver thing can often be to be yourself. And I really enjoyed it. The artwork was lovely, and it was just a really positive, lovely message. So I'm going to give this one 4 stars, and I'm really pleased I picked it up. And this author also, I think, won, created a book which was a Newbery Honour book called Roller Girl. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes open for that, because I loved this. I just thought it was really, really good. But a good strong 4 stars, and I'm going to be moving on to my next book as soon as I finish Truth Witch. Okay, so it's day 2 of the ContemporaryAthon. It's Tuesday and I'm getting properly started today. I finished Truth Witch last night, which I'll talk about in another video because it's not contemporary. And I have started this morning 3 Things About Elsie by Joanna Cannon. It's okay so far. I'm about 30 pages in. I'm reading this with Janet. I think what I'm going to do is read this alongside another one. I don't know, it might be a bit dry for me. That sounds weird, but maybe it's just because I'm not into it yet. But I don't know, I'm leaning towards YA contemporaries at the moment, and so in order to avoid feeling slumpy, I'm going to read this, but I might spread this out over the week or the next sort of 3 or 4 days and just read like 100 pages a day, and then read some of my other ContemporaryAthon TBR alongside. Now, I have made a little bit of a change. I've changed up a couple of the books that I think I'm going to read, but I'm not going to let you know yet because I'm not starting them yet, and I might change my mind again. But alongside this today, I am going to pick up my hyped book, which is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This is relatively short. It's John Green, so it's going to be a page turner, and it's one that I think I can get through today. I'm actually going all day to Matilda's friend's house, her best friend, who she absolutely loves, and oh, they play so lovely together, it's lovely. And her mum's really into craft and crocheting and knitting, and we've just got a really nice relationship. We're really chilled. You know, she's a great friend, so we'll probably spend some time chatting, but then we always say, oh well, let's just sit and sort of do a bit of our craft or our reading or whatever. So I think I might get a chance to do a little bit of that there, but I'll let you know later how I get on. If not, then my husband's away for the night tonight, so once Matilda is in bed asleep, I will crack on with some more reading then. But watch this space and we'll see. Bye for now. Okay, so it's been a long day. Matilda had all day at her friend's house in the end. We really enjoyed it and she played really nicely, and my friend was doing some uni work, and so I did get a chance to read some of Turtles All the Way Down by John Green, and I've just finished it up now. It is 9 o'clock at night, so I have read a book in a day, and this is the second book for the Contemporary-athon, and this was the book that I picked for a book that is hyped, and unfortunately for me this didn't really hit the spot. I didn't feel it lived up to the hype. I enjoyed it and it was a easy readable book. I just felt a little bit disappointed with the plot. Our main character Azza has, I think, what is OCD, and she struggles with her mental health. She is seeking psychiatric help and she's on medication. And there's sort of this plot going on about this rich boy that sort of lives over the river that she's briefly met some summers previous when they were younger, and his father has disappeared and is under investigation for sort of embezzlement or stealing money or something like that. And so there's that sort of mystery and this rekindling of their friendship, and yet I just feel like it was a bit I didn't get any emotional response for it, apart from, actually, I have to say, I did feel uptight about what was going on with Azza, and I think it's very difficult, and I think it did its job in terms, or hopefully that was what the job was, of as someone that doesn't suffer from OCD or mental health problems. It made me frustrated for her and feel for her, and I wanted her to get better. I wanted her to feel better, and I could see how her best friend Daisy was frustrated because she wanted to help her. She wanted to help her better, and it's not one of those things that gets better, or, you know, people learn to live with it and control it slightly, but it does spiral out of control, and it's not something that people choose. It just happens, and that part of it I thought was really good and did give me those sort of feelings of frustration and also anxiety of, you know, what was going on in this girl's life, and just feeling for her and her future and how she self-sabotaged everything. So that part I thought was good, but yeah, I don't know, it just fell a bit flat for me, so I'm going to give this one 3 stars. I'm going to now try and read a little bit of 3 Things About Elsie. I picked it up this morning and read, I think, 30 or 40 pages, and I'm feeling a bit about it at the moment, but what I want to do is to be trying to read maybe 50 to 100 pages every night before I go to bed, and then picking up another book during the day. So that is the plan. I'm going to read a bit of that now, and if I have a chance I will check in with you before I go to bed in about an hour, because I'm old and I like to go to bed early, and let you know how I get on with that one. But okay, so I've read up to page 82 in 3 Things About Elsie, and I'm going to stop reading for tonight. I want to watch a little bit of BookTube and just chill out for half an hour before I go to bed. I really want to like this, but I'm not enjoying it so much. I'm just not finding it's capturing my attention very much, so I'm pleased that I've decided to read sort of 80 to 100 pages a day in chunks and read another book as well alongside, because I think that will help me get through it, and who knows, maybe it will pique my interest a little bit more as I get further in, but for now I'm just not feeling it, which is a shame. So yes, signing off for today, end of day 2 of the Contemporary-athon, and I will chat to you all a bit more tomorrow. Okay, so I haven't checked in for a while. It's been a couple of days. It's now Thursday, so day 4 of the ContemporaryAthon, and I have finished this, Dating You, Hating You by Christina Lauren. I swapped out the book that I received, or the contemporary book I received most recently, because I just fancied reading this, and it came in the post via the publishers last week, and so I just wanted to get to it because it sounded right up my street. I really ended up enjoying this. It's a story of 2 Hollywood agents. They work for different firms, and they're kind of set up by their married friends at a fancy dress party where she goes as Hermione Granger and he goes as Harry Potter. Fate intervenes. They end up getting on really well. There's great sexual chemistry, and then the next time they see each other, they find out that the 2 companies they work for are merging and they're going to be competing for the same job. There's some really interesting themes. I mean, this is, you know, it's a romance, it's a bit raunchy, and that is, you know, the crux really of it, but there is some really interesting themes covered here actually. It looks quite heavily at workplace bias in terms of gender, and I thought that was really interesting how they used that as sort of a plot device, and I've not seen that used many times before. And they managed to, she managed, Christina Lauren managed to make it, you know, didn't make light of it, and which I thought was really clever. And yeah, I just whizzed through this. I read it in a day. It was really addictive. There were some great romance parts. I enjoyed the romance part of it. I didn't feel like it was forced or unnatural. And so I'm going to give this one 4 stars. So I'm really glad that I picked that one up. Since then, I've been having a day of pampering. I've had a facial, so I've got no makeup on, and I've just had my hair cut because it was starting to look a little bit raggedy. So I've had a full service today, and in between all these different things, I have been reading my next book, which is The First Time She Drowned, which is one that was recommended, not to me personally, but on Books and Lala's channel. And so far, I am about 100 pages through and really enjoying it. It's different to what I normally read, but yeah, so far a good read. So I'll come back hopefully by the end of tonight having finished this, which will be my 5th book, leaving me just 2 books to finish to complete my goal and get my bonus for Bookopoly of completing the read-a-thon challenges. So watch this space. I'll come back to you a bit later. I'm going to go for a bath now. I got myself some bath bombs, so I'm looking forward to having one of those and having a little soak in the tub. So I'll catch up with you in a little bit. Okay, so I'm just about to head off to Bath. It's day 5 of the ContemporaryAthon. I'm going to Bath this weekend for 2 nights with the lovely Janet from Swelly Girly Reads. We're going book shopping and we're going to relax. We've got an Airbnb. I'm just so excited. A little break, a little bookish break for the 2 of us. But before I go, I wanted to talk about the book I finished last night, which is The First Time She Drowned by Kerry Kletter. And this was surprising for me. It covers a topic which I haven't seen in books before. I'm not sure if I'm going to get the terminology right, but I believe the mother in this is probably a narcissist, and it just looks at how this mother-daughter relationship has been, how toxic it was, the backstory to that, parts of the mother's backstory, and how manipulative a mother can be in order to get love from their child. It made me sick and uncomfortable, and I really didn't like the manipulation and the emotional manipulation and the emotional abuse that happened in this story. But it was really well written, although the slight twist in here, the repressed memory, was quite obvious to me, and perhaps it was meant to be, perhaps that wasn't meant to be, sort of a big reveal. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really clever. It wasn't a nice read because it's not a nice topic, and one that I found uncomfortable to read about, and truly thankful that I don't have that situation in my life, but I enjoyed it. I definitely recommend this one. I'm really pleased I read it and I gave it a 4 stars. So I've now got 2 books left to read for the ContemporaryAthon. I've DNF'd 3 things about Elsie. I didn't enjoy it, so I will be doubling up for that book with a different one. I just couldn't get on with it. I know people love it, and I'm still going to read The Truth About Sheep and Goats, but it just wasn't for me. I just didn't personally enjoy it. I just found it a bit boring. The writing style was easy enough. I just found it a bit boring. So unfortunately that was a DNF. I know it's a bit of a strange opinion because a lot of people love that book, but it just wasn't for me. So I'm going to pack up, I'm going to get in the car. I've got my new earrings on, which I'm really pleased with, and they make little dangly noises. I had my hair cut yesterday, so it's much better condition than it was, so I'm pleased with that. I had a facial. I feel thoroughly spoilt and ready for my trip with Janet and to do some book shopping, because I had about £120 worth of vouchers for a shop in Bath called Mr. B's, and so I will be allowing myself to spend that without repercussions on Bookopoly because I was given those for Christmas. So yeah, bring it on. There may be another vlog of Bath, depending on how I get on, or it may be included in this when I'm reading the contemporary books, we'll see. But for now, I am going to have some breakfast, I'm going to get in the car, I'm going to put my audiobook of Cruel Prince on, and I'm going to drive the 2 hours to Bath. Okay, so I'm here at the place that me and Janet are going to be staying for the weekend, and it is beautiful. Let me show you round. I'm going to turn you round, hold on. So as you walk in, you come into this really gorgeous kitchen, and then straight on through to this beautifully decorated lounge. It's so lovely. I love all the little details. This clock on the wall is amazing, and look, there's a stuffed flamingo, pretend flamingo head on the wall. I think that's gorgeous. And just outside the windows you can see this patio area where there are seats and amazing views of the city. And it's a gorgeous day today, so I can imagine me and Janet having a little sit out there later with a glass of wine. And then if you come through here, this door, I'm going to see if I can find the lights. There is a beautiful bathroom and shower and dressing table area here, and then you go into a single bedroom, which is where I'm going to stay for the weekend, which is beautifully cozy, and the whole place just smells gorgeous. They've done a lovely job, pretty decor all the way through. And the other side of the lounge is the main bedroom, the king-size bedroom, and it's also beautifully decorated with a view out to that seating area. It's just amazing. I think it's beautiful. I can't wait to just get unpacked a little bit and just sit and relax until Janet gets here. So I'm off to go and start my next book, which is Queens of Geek, which wasn't on my original TBR, but it is a diverse contemporary, I believe, and also it's going to cover my pink on the front cover now that I've DNS'd 3 things about Elsie. So I'll check in with you when I've read some of that. Hello! So I've just finished my next book, Queens of Geek by... oh, who's it by? Somebody Wild. Why can't I see who it's by? Jen Wild. Jen Wild. And I was sort of... I'm in an R-in about a rating in the middle. I like to sort of rate it as I'm going along, and then my rating changes depending on how I'm enjoying it. But I was umming and ahhing with the rating in this one, but I ended up giving it 4 stars. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was a really sweet, fun contemporary. There's no twists and turns in here. You kind of know what's going to happen. But I love the setting of it being in sort of a Comic-Con type place, like a geeky convention. I thought was really good. I liked the roles the different characters played. We got some diversity in there. We've got a bisexual girl, we've got a girl who's autistic, a couple of people that are autistic actually. We've got YouTubers and bloggers and dealing with that type of popularity and fame, which I thought was interesting. yeah, it was just a fun, sweet contemporary, but I quite enjoyed it. I liked the smiley ending. It was just a really fun, nice read, and I read it in less than a day. It's a real fast one. So this is going to cover my challenge of pink cover and also diverse book. I'm doubling up on that now that I've given up on 3 Things About Elsie. And now I'm going to start my final book. So it's Saturday, so I've got today and tomorrow, and my final book is the Taboo Dark Contemporary, and I'm finally going to read Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma. So I've kind of been putting it off because I'm worried about it and the content, but it's about time, so I'm going to get stuck into that, and I'll let you know how I get on in a bit when I wrap up my ContemporaryAthon. And fingers crossed, if I read this and get it done by Sunday, then I'll make an extra £5 on my Bookopoly, because you get £2 for entering a read-a-thon, but you get £5 if you complete all the challenges, and that'll be my first one for the year, so I'm very excited about that. So I'll catch up with you in a bit. Hi there, so it is now day 6 of the ContemporaryAthon, and I have finished my challenges. Yay! I didn't end up reading Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma. I've just been putting it off all the time. The subject matter really bothers me, and I just couldn't bring myself to read it. I did start it tonight and I read about 20 pages and I just couldn't. I just don't want to read that storyline, so I've just put it down, and I'm gonna get rid of it. So I ended up picking up a book that I'd picked up this weekend called The Stranger Game by Silent Busby. This is about a girl and her sister. Her sister goes missing and then 4 years later turns up, and this one's a bit of a strange one for me because it was I mean, I couldn't put it down. I read it in an evening. It was definitely a page turner, but I really just felt like there was some gaping plot holes, and I can't tell you what they were because it would spoil the story. But I did feel like there were certain elements of it that just didn't make sense for me, and I didn't understand how the motivations of any of the characters, and I didn't understand how it ended as it did. And our main character, whose eyes we're seeing this through, I thought was just a bit of a non-character. There was nothing to sort of endear us to her. There was nothing to her really. She didn't have a personality. We didn't get to know her character at all. So I was really torn about what to rate this, because I liked the fact that it pulled me through. It was a page turner. It was an easy read. I liked the concept for the story, but it just didn't deliver on everything that I wanted, and I didn't feel that connection to the characters. So I've gone with 3 stars. It's not necessarily one that I would recommend to everyone, but it was good for a book to read in an evening, and I'd be interested to talk to other people if they've read this, because you know, I can't talk to you about it too much because of the twists. So yeah, 3 stars. But that wraps up ContemporaryAthon for me. I've managed 6 books, covered 7 challenges, and I'm really pleased with that. So that gives me my £2 for taking part in the read-a-thon, and an additional £5 for completing the challenges for Bookopoly. So I'm really happy with that. So yeah, that's it for this vlog, and I shall speak to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.